So today marks 2 months since I started my figure reviews back in August, all the way to now, and it's been a really fun sort of experience to be able to record these videos and just get out of my comfort zone. I've always had fear speaking on camera, no matter if my face is in it or not. It's just always been something that I've been afraid of doing. And these videos have made me become more comfortable just being able to speak better, I guess. Not as good as some people are, but still, it gets me out of my comfort zone. And it's been very fun to also be able to express my opinions on certain action figures that I review and what I hate and what I like about that action figure. So today, I want to look at another figure line that I collect, and it is none other than the S.H.Figuarts line made by Bandai. So to start off the first S.H.Figuart review on this channel, I will be looking at Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. And when it comes to shonen battle mangas, my first shonen battle manga that I was introduced to was Bleach. It wasn't Naruto, it wasn't One Piece, it wasn't Dragon Ball Z, it was Bleach. And till this day, this series still has a very sentimental place in my heart, mainly because I just love Bleach's aesthetics and just everything about the series. Is it a good series? I'll let you be the judge to decide that, whether you like it or not. Some people have mixed feelings about Bleach, but people like me who actually enjoyed it, I do like it. Is it good? It's good in some areas, but I will say this, there are some parts of the story that can be a little bit iffy. So it's not completely, the best things. But when it comes to certain fights and certain just styles of how Kubo draws his characters, that's what makes me love Bleach. So, and as for today, this particular figure is also very significant because this is the first time I've seen a company make a Bleach figure that's I guess officially licensed. Maybe they made some in the past, but they were not articulated. I'm not sure. When it comes to anime figures, right? When we think about anime figures, we see a bunch of Dragon Ball figures, we see figures for Naruto, we see figures for One Piece. Every company has tackled it, right? And recently SHF has started to bring back anime figures all of a sudden. It's not like they didn't have it. It's more like they've had Dragon Ball going for a long time. And then they came back with the Naruto line because the original Naruto line failed. So they tried again, and this time the second iteration of the Naruto SHF line is very successful, in my opinion. It's probably one of the better anime lines that they've made. And then, of course, they got the license of One Piece, and they have been gobbling up every single shonen anime IP that they can get their hands on like crazy recently, right? There's a Yu Yu Hakusho SHF Figuarts coming out soon, a Demon Slayer, the list goes on, right? But then last year, around December time, or I don't know, no, I think it was the year before. Yeah, the year before, after part 1 or part 2, I don't remember, they announced an S.H.Figuarts for Bleach. And they showed a silhouette of Ichigo. And at the time, I was like, this is the first time I think we are seeing Bleach action figures. And I could be wrong, but maybe other companies have made it in the past a long time ago. But it's been so long since I've seen any Bleach related thing in a figure form of some kind. It's very rare. It's not as common as other anime IPs, in my opinion, getting figures. So, and of course, the question was, how were they going to do these figures? Because when it comes to Bleach, a lot of the characters wear clothing styles that are very different from what you would expect characters like in Naruto or Dragon Ball to wear, right? And when you think of Bleach, you would think that, well, the clothing style they wear should benefit from cloth goods. And this is where that's not the case. this figure is all plastic, and this figure is the first of its kind because we've never gotten this version of Ichigo in any figure form until I guess recently now. And I have to say, there are areas I like about this figure, and there are areas that I hate about this figure. And with that, I want to get into the review for this figure. But before that, let's take a look at the box, because the boxes for S.H.Figuarts are always nice boxes that I can keep and also put my figure back into when I don't want to have them out. So I'm going to move the figure over so we can see the box. So they all come in like some sort of box style that's very open window, so you can see the figure, you can see some of its accessories, right? And they always say this in front of the box, which is very interesting. Every S.H.Figuarts has this on the cover. It says it's a standard action figure series that uses the art style and technology of Tamashii nations to pursue character expression through humanoid action. So this is like what they have labeled on the box all the time. And you get a nice photo of the figure up front. You get his name. You get the name of his sword, Tensa Zangetsu, because this is his Bankai form that he has in the beginning of the Blood War arc that was also introduced in the Fullbring arc. And it just tells you where it's made, who it's designed by. You got the logos and stuff. Then you got the side of the box, which I think looks pretty cool, right? If you want to put them in a sideways position, you can put it like that. Or you can have it this way, but I think the other side is better. And of course, on the back of the box, they show the figure a little bit more. You get to see certain images of his facial expressions and how he's holding his sword. It's just pretty cool. So, and of course the age rating for this figure, 15 plus. So yeah, there you go. That is the box for an S.H.Figuarts. And most S.H.Figuarts do have similar boxes, but their designs are different. So it depends on just the style they're going for. Like the Naruto boxes, as you saw in that collection video, has like another aesthetic going on, which is pretty cool. And as for the figure itself, it is a very light plastic. It is very, to me, these figures are very fragile. I try not to do anything crazy in articulation with these guys because I'm always scared that something might break. One of the things about buying these type of anime figures is that they're not cheap. They are very costly. This guy retailed for, I believe, $59.99 when he came out. I was able to get him for like some sort of sale price, which wasn't too much in a sale. But again, some figure arts can cost more than him. He's around like $60. And then when Byakuya came out, he was like in the 80s. So they all ranged in different prices and stuff, which is crazy. But yeah, so this is one of those lines where it's like, if you are willing to spend that kind of money for anime figures that are not on the cheaper end scale of the spectrum, then you would pay for these. But again, S.H.Figuarts is one of those lines where they sometimes do good and sometimes do bad. So it doesn't, like, even with the way that the figures cost, it doesn't guarantee that it'll turn out to be good. And this is exactly the thing I want to point out already, because the elephant in the room is that when they don't use cloth goods, this is what I'm talking about. So one of the things that you might have heard from other people who have reviewed this figure is the issues with his legs. And I'm going to move his sword a little bit the other way. He has a very long sword, just to point that out. This sword is quite long. I don't remember if it was this long in the anime, because like sometimes the angles for when he's holding the sword in the anime, it changes, so it's not exactly the same length, I guess. But these legs are what people will call tree trunks, because they look like tree trunks. And the reason why people were hoping it would be cloth goods was because Um, a lot of the outfit designs in Bleach are very reminiscent of. They're kind of like, I don't want to say they look like kimonos, but they have a very like long cloth thing that drapes down that they wear. Their pants are not like baggy, but it's a long piece, right? Like a long piece of fabric that goes down. It's not like a pair of pants that is like tight knit on your leg. And that's exactly why these pants, like as you can see, it's like very hollow underneath, right? His where his socks are. It's like a, I don't know what to call these. I don't know what kind of clothing this is in real life. But again, cloth goods would have benefited these legs because when you look at the way they articulate, it can only go 90 degrees because of the fact that you have a single jointed leg. And I've seen other companies incorporate, let me use the word, incorporate these type of legs in their figures. For example, I don't know who this character is, but there is a Storm collectible figure that came out recently from, I don't know if it's from Street Fighter or King of Fighters, but they had these style legs too for their character, where it's like, it's a little bit more bulkier, but it's a similar style, almost very tree trunk, and it's, again, because the character is wearing these kind of pants. I don't know what they're called, but I'm calling them pants, and it doesn't work completely. Like, I feel like they should have tried to use cloth, right? Because here's the thing why I say they should use cloth is because now a lot of the more recent S.H.Figuarts that are getting announced for the newer anime license lines that they have acquired recently, they're going up in price. And when you're charging more, maybe change up the quality of how you make certain figures. Usually that's the way we as consumers would hope would be the case, right? But no, that is not the case. They are still doing the same things, and certain figures are still having the same issues. So, again, price hike doesn't change the quality, which is the unfortunate reality when it comes to collecting action figures in this day and age. Let's just say that. Now, there are some companies that are doing good things, but very rare. But when it comes to like the mainline companies that people like to follow, such as S.H.Figuarts, they don't do that all the time. Sometimes they'll put out a figure where it's like really impressive, and then sometimes they don't. And I think that was one of the mixed opinions that a lot of people had with this Ichigo, was the fact that anything from like the body upward is okay, right? Like, I don't have anything against the way they did the torso, the arms, like all that is good. But when it comes to the legs, there should have been another way to do this. Because if you look at the anime hero version of this character in his Soul Society arc style outfit, it has the same sort of legs. And I remember I shared this with my cousin before they announced this. I showed him, like, look at those legs, they look so hideous. And then we made a joke saying that there's a chance that SHF might do the same thing with how they sculpt the legs, because they're both made by Bandai. Now, one is made by Bandai America, but you know, it's all still Bandai in the end of the day. So this is exactly what we feared, and it came true. So that's why these legs are kind of one of those things where if you can live with it, because I can live with it, because I don't expect any other company to make Bleach figures for a time being, since they're constantly making Bleach figures. Well, they've only made up to the most recent one, I believe, is the dual blade form for Ichigo. So that was the latest news we got for Bleach SHF. They haven't announced anything else since then, so I'm kind of like wondering like what is coming after. But if you can live with these legs, then it's not the end of the world. Because for me, I don't know if any other company will make a Bleach figure with like all cloth goods that's officially licensed. Like, for example, if 3-0 made an Ichigo figure fully clothed, maybe I might just invest into that in the future. Like, just pay more attention to that line. Those figures are even more costly because they scale bigger. They're not as small as these figure arts. Those ones are big. If you saw their recently photos that they revealed of Tenjiro from Demon Slayer, that figure looks pretty cool with the all cloth goods. So, all right, enough rambling about those things, like the negatives, which is mainly the legs. Is there any positives on this figure? Well, I would like to say that there are positives on this figure. So, the skirt pieces right here for his Shuhakusho is very, very interesting. I like the soft plastic that they also use, the PVC. So just like my McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that also use soft goods, I like that other companies are also trying to incorporate softer PVC. And now, would it have been better if there was articulation on these? I don't know. I mean, the captains for this line, they do have what you would call like articulation points on their outfit, so then you can kind of create like a wind motion. But I think the reason why Ichigo doesn't have it is because if, in my opinion, if they put articulation here, it will look weird. And honestly, I'd rather them just do something different where maybe instead of soft PVC, incorporate, or if they do keep soft PVC, maybe incorporate like some sort of wiring in the plastic so you can actually move it instead of just having an articulation point. But of course, maybe they'll cost more. I don't know. As for his face, which take a look at, yeah, it's kind of like Ichigo. I don't know what they were trying to base his face off of. From what I can tell, this is more like the anime face than what he looks like in the manga. There are certain face expressions that he has that I'll show as in a little bit. But yeah, this particular face doesn't look that bad. I think it's okay. I think at first when I saw these images, I was like, that face doesn't look that good. But as I have it in hand now and I stare at it longer, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see what they were trying to go for. So at this point, I can't complain, right? If this is the only line that's making Bleach figures, what can you do? You just have to hope that they improve the sculpt works and everything as time goes on. And after all, this is the first time there is even a Bleach figure line. Like, I think, like, in a way like this. So, as for his clothing, yeah, it's very standard. So most of the black on here is just like one paint that just goes all around, and then all the white is similar, right? So there's not like crazy amount of paint on here that's like, you know, gonna make it look entirely crazy. And he does have his I don't know what those are called. Ever since he got his powers back, since the end of the Fullbring arc, in his Bunkai mode, he has these things on his neck. I think they're just part of his outfit. I don't know what they are. They never explained what that is. And of course, what makes this figure what it is his sword. So as I said, his sword is very long. His Bunkai is a thin sword, not like his thick, heavy blade that we usually see. I hope they do make that version down the road. And I think the way the sword came out is okay. It came out nicely. But one thing I noticed is that compared to other figures, this sword is very flimsy. Like, it's not like a thick, sharp piece of like, well, it is a little bit sharp, but not like sharp. But the plastic they used is very flimsy. And I think they did this in the hopes that if you drop this figure, it will not break the sword. So that's something that I think that they chose to do, which I don't know if it's a good thing, because I'd rather this just be one solid piece of plastic and not be flimsy, because I don't know what happens in the heat, right? Like right now, at the time of recording this, excuse me, it was only like a few weeks ago when it was like 100 degrees, 100 something over here, right, in Southern California. And I never had this guy outside of the box at the time. I had him like in storage. So just imagine if I actually had him out during that weather. I wonder if this would warp in any way. So there is that problem. So yeah, I'm gonna take the sword off of his hand. It goes on his hand pretty good because these hands are like a soft the EVC as well. So you can just like pull on them a little bit and then put the sword in, and it will not break those hands. So there's that. In the package when he first was delivered to me and I took him out of the box, he did have fist hands on both hands, but I have the gripping hand on right now. It's nice to include fist hands for this character. He doesn't really use his fists all too often from what I can remember, except for when he was like in his human form beating up thugs. That was when he used his fists. But in his Soul Reaper form, he doesn't really punch people all too often, but it doesn't matter. He still has fist hands, and that's still a nice thing to include anyways. So, yeah. As for his additional accessories outside of his sword, what does a Figuart figure come with? Well, the standard thing that most of them come with are interchangeable hands. Let me just move him over there. So he has these open hands. They look cool. You could probably use this for like him stopping someone's sword swinging at him if you're doing some sort of photo. So these hands are good for that, I guess. Then he has, or maybe not these hands. I think this hand is better for that. Yeah. So he has two of these hands. And then he also has another gripping hand for his left hand. So if you want him to hold the sword with the left hand, you could do that too. So if you want to hold it with two hands, you can do that, because in the photo on the back of the box, as I showed, there is a image where he can hold it with two hands. So it's not possible. I mean, it's not impossible. And he also has a fist hand, which is kind of cool. So that's for his right hand. Now, when it comes to his other expressions that he has, I will show what each one of them look like to the best of my ability. So you have his base facial expression, which is very mute. It just looks like he's angry, kind of. And with Figuarts, it's really cool. You could pop that off. And this is something that McFarlane is, I think, incorporating into their DC Multiverse figures now, because I think that Huntress figure is kind of crazy. It's the first time... Oh, it's not the first time. So, McFarlane's Demon Slayer line, that recent Tendril that just released back in July, had faceplate options, which is something I never expected McFarlane to ever do. But I guess a lot of companies now are trying to do this faceplate thing because, one, it saves them the trouble from having to sculpt a brand new head. Just the fact that you have to pop the head off and then pop another head on. I think they don't like doing that anymore. Maybe that's why they're realizing, wait, faceplates are pretty cool. You can just keep the head on, but you can just take the face part off and then just swap it with something else. So I've noticed that some of the American figures or American IP action figure lines are starting to incorporate this as well. So you have this expression, which I have no clue. I think it's just another expression of just being mad or being serious, right? Oh, he doesn't want to stand. Okay. And then you have his smiling expression. I think he's smiling. Let's see. I want to show it this way because instead of just showing the faceplate, it looks better when you have the hair and the face together. Yeah, so this is like more like the smiling, confident look. I like this face more because it's very expressive and he's not always looking like he's sad. Then you have this faceplate, which I think is very close to that scene in the anime where, you know, he showed up. He was really mad at the Quincy King for what they did to the Soul Society and everything that was going on. So I like this expression in that form, but it looks kind of wonky. I'm not gonna lie. So, but it works if you need him to be mad or like in rage, I guess. Then you have this last expression, which is the I'm scared expression, I guess. I want to call it that. So there's also a moment in the anime, in part 1 where, you know, he gets tossed onto the ground and then he gets a sword almost stabbed into his neck by the Quincy King, but then it's discovered that he has blood vein. And this is kind of like that expression that he was having in that scene. So, yeah, very nice. I like the inclusion of all these faceplates. They are okay, I guess. They do work when you need them to. So, I'm going to put the more confident faceplate back on because I think I might keep it with just this one on. There we go. I apologize if this video feels like it's going to get long because this is my first time reviewing Figuarts, so bear with me. In terms of articulation, he can lift his arms up. He also has, you know, your standard butterfly sort of joint thing, but the difference between this and the way that McFarlane does it is that these can pull out a little bit. You can see right there, right? And they can go pretty close, like the hands can reach, which is pretty good. I wish McFarlane paid more attention to their articulation with DC figures and do stuff like this, but they won't. I don't think they ever will. So there's that. And then he does have double jointed elbows, which they do work. Let me see. Yeah, you just have to be very careful with them. And in my opinion, when you play around with a figure art, just do everything in a very gentle way. Don't put too much force into articulating the figure because they do feel like they're fragile. And when you spend this kind of money on these figures, just understand that you should treat them better, as I say. Now his head, on the other hand, is a double jointed articulation. So he has a neck articulation, then he has his head articulation. Oh, the faceplate wants to pop off, right? So that can rotate. But he can't look up. He cannot look up because his hairpiece blocks him from looking up. He can look down with the neck combo, but he cannot look up. So there is a limitation to that. His torso up here is very articulated. It moves. He can kind of crunch forward. Not exactly. He can lean back a little bit. And oh, here's another thing I like. So when he leans back, there's more sculpt revealing the inside to continue his clothing. And I like that they did that because if you look at Marvel Legends, there are certain Marvel Legend releases where they don't do stuff like this. They just don't even continue the pattern, so it looks really bad. But that's his torso. For his waist, there is rotation. It is right here, as you can see. So it can rotate, but it's very limiting because the skirt gets in the way. As for his legs, because this figure is still really new, I'm not going to try to split those legs too crazy because I'm scared that I will break something. So for my copy, that's how far I'm going to spread his legs out because I don't want to do any more to it. He can kick out, right? He does have the thigh swivel up here. He does have the articulation in the leg that can only go this much. It's not a double jointed articulation. As for his feet, he can, you know, do the standard thing with the feet. It can rock side to side, swivel, and of course, toe articulation, which is very present on all S.H.Figuarts as well. So he has pretty okay articulation. But again, not the best articulation. So, in the end of the day, what is my, I guess, verdict on this Ichigo figure? It is okay. It is not the best. It is just, it's good enough for you to put on a shelf, but it's not going to be something you will articulate to do crazy poses in because of certain factors limiting this figure from being at its best potential. Let's just say that. There are figure arts that they have released that have way better articulation than this figure that can do things that this figure can't do. So again, it is very on and off. And one of the things I've noticed with the Bleach line is that the Bleach line is very weird. I don't want to say it's like bad. I just want to say it's like in the middle. It's like, it's not great, but it's also not bad. It's okay, right? Compared to like the Naruto line where they clearly learned from that first mistake they made 5 years ago, and then this is why the second line is just like way better and everything. But I guess with Bleach, because they've never done Bleach before, maybe it's a learning curve. Maybe they're learning as they go. And I hope that's the case, because the One Piece line also has this problem where certain figures come out good, certain figures come out bad. There have been recent releases that they've shown, and I'm hoping those are good releases, right? Like for Ace, and a couple other characters I'm already forgetting. But these guys are not even out yet, but I'm hoping they come out good. And yeah, One Piece and Bleach have been one of those lines in Figuarts where I'm just praying that they put more effort into and just make every figure a good release so it's worth investing into. Because I don't have any other Bleach Figuarts right now, mainly because the other ones are also in this area where it's, it's just okay. And if they go on sale, maybe then I'll buy them. But for the time being, I'm good with just having one of them until I see, I guess, more improvements to this line. So, because I know they can do better. If they can make those Naruto figures good, they definitely can do better with Bleach and One Piece and all the other lines, I guess, that they're doing now, right? For all the other anime shonens. So, but only time will tell. And with that, this will be the end of my first figure art review on the channel. And I apologize for making it over 30 minutes. It's been a long time since I made a video this long. But I just wanted to talk about this figure. And yeah, next month, we'll be looking into other figures within a theme that I've set for the month of October. And that theme is the theme of monsters. And with that, take care, and I will see you in the next video.